Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am stitchywitch42. My channel is usually about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything, but as you can see from my desk, today is part 2 of my how I create a folio style journal. So this morning I got up and I finished off the 6th one. I've got it all covered. I have my extra bits and bobs which I will be saving, but I have this all covered front and back. The only parts that are not covered, trying to stay in frame here, is this inside piece. So this will end up going on there. Those are both going to fold up and make pockets. I need to cover this inside piece. Now for me, I am using a paper bag to cover my journals because I work in a grocery store and I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. If you've ever felt a paper bag, and I'm sure everybody has, it's really rather smooth. But after you put the mica sprays on, it gets this texture to it that's almost a really fine, really fine, gritty paper. It's not bad. I like the novelty of using the paper bags because, like I said, I'm making these 6 journals for my coworkers. But I want to finish, I want to cover the inside here too. So what I did this morning is I came upstairs and I have this big sheet of brown packing paper. I got this in a package a couple of years ago, and this piece of paper was 3 feet wide by about 8 feet long. Lots of paper to use. So I cut it down into roughly a 10 by almost 9-inch square piece, and I started stamping. So what I did is I pulled out all my stamps and I picked out the ones that I wanted to use. And for me, I like working in 3s. So it's like I did 3 of this stamp, and then I did 3 of this stamp. Sorry, my tax person called. Anyway, I took a piece of paper, it's about 10 by 9, pulled out all my stamps. I like working in 3s, so 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. I have these little X's that kind of look cross stitches. I switched out different colors for there. I took my block stamp and stamped all over it. I've got numbers on there. I did all 6 of them at the same time, doing the same thing on each one so that they all are similar but unique. So, how to add this inside here. I have some friends who are quilters, and some of them seem to think that they're going to get me to quilt someday. I think that the odds of me doing any quilting are worse than the odds of me winning the lottery without ever buying a lottery ticket. I don't like doing precise. I know the pockets are going to cover that up, so I don't need to worry about having the paper go all the way down. I've got a straight edge here. I'm going to measure to about here. And I'm going to tear a piece of paper. I've got my straight edge here. Yeah, I like this side better. And you see, that's the thing. When you stamp like this, it doesn't matter whether you're upside down, right side up, inside out. And these little bits, keep them. I'm gonna, in a later project, I'm going to make a snippet roll using the leftovers of this. So, you know, it's bad enough that my tax people have made the appointment with me. They've sent me numerous texts reminding me of my tax appointment. They've now called and told me, and then they sent another text. I guess they think I'm really blonde. Anyway, I'm just going to put that in there. Do the same thing with the other one. It doesn't matter if the paper is wrinkled. Okay, so as you can see, you see a little bit there. It doesn't matter. I am going to go for a grungy look on my finished project, so it doesn't matter. What I am going to do now, though, is all these corners, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to see, do I need to trim anything up? Do I have any extra paper sticking out of the back? Fight with the legs of the tripod. I'm going to round my corners. I like making this style of journal, but I have to tell you, when you have it all cut before it's put together, completely put together, it is one of the most fiddly things ever. But I'm just going to go around and cut my edges. If that doesn't cut completely, and it might not because I'm going through a layer of manila folder and also paper bag. Okay, this one needs a little bit of a trim. When I see it's wrinkling up on the edges like that one was, it means when it's closing, it's hitting the other side. So I just trim it back, and then I cut my corners. If you don't have a corner rounder, that one actually looks pretty good, doesn't need to be trimmed. You can take the bottom of your glue stick and just hold it to the corner there, draw around with a pencil, and then cut around it. This one needs a little bit of a trim here. Another thing I was doing this morning as I was getting ready before this, like I said, I'm making these for 6 coworkers, and I will be retiring on April 27th, which is now just a mere 10 weeks away, and it's like, I need to get these done. Do I think they're going to take that long to finish? No. But it's the ephemera and the other bits and bobs that I want to make to go inside there. So when I was up this morning and I was doing things, see that one? That one still wants to hit right there. So I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more. Okay, that's better, that's better. There's that. Anyway, as I was prepping these this morning, I went through, and if I saw spots that weren't going to be covered, I went in and I added some washi tape. Okay, for me, the next step is to go around and to sew an edge around all of these pages. I do that because I like the look of it. I think it gives it a little bit more finished touch. If you don't have a sewing machine, if you don't want to sew, you can make the same effect with a marker. Just go around and... Can I find one on my desk anywhere? No, I cannot. Just go around it and make lines. It will give it a very similar effect. You could do crosses. You can do whatever makes you happy. But I like to sew, and I have to tell you that the shape of this folder makes for very, very fiddly sewing. So what I did is I went around each individual page, each individual pocket. I left strings hanging all over the place because I like the grungy look, and I'm going to make this grungy. You can see where I sewed over the washi tape there. I sewed all around this bit, and I want to show you a little trick that I learned a while back. Set this aside. When you've got your strings sitting there, if you take a seam ripper and you pull up on it, you can actually pull the thread from the back side. Okay, well anyway, what I was going to say is if you pull the threads up on the one side, and I've got one that's not cooperating, I could just tie a little knot there, and that way if I leave my thread hanging, which I probably will in this, I don't know if my coworkers like grungy stuff or not, but I do. But it just makes a nice little finished knot there. You could hang beads on that, little itty bitty charms. But anyway, I went and I stitched around every pocket, inside and out. As you can see, the stitches show up on the inside too. I think this is the one. Oh, that needs to be trimmed because it's catching. When I cut the paper here, I had a mess there, so I just zigzagged over it and emphasized the mistake because it's going to be a grungy journal. But it's all ready to be put together now. Now the next step is where I'm going to get dirty. Like I said, I want to do grungy. I'm using my Tim Holtz Distress ink. This is pumice stone, so it's a dark color. And anywhere where the manila folder is showing, I'm just going to go around and do this. It's going to hide the manila folder. It's going to add this dark coloration here, which I like. The thing with Distress Oxides is that they are water reactive. So if you wanted to have some fun and you were into it, if you sprayed a little water on top of this, you're going to get some more different effects, and it's going to make things look just a little bit more grungy too. But I'm going to, well, I'm just going to go through and I am going to ink up all my edges, and I shall return because this is the fiddly bit. So I have most of this one inked, but as you can see back here, I had quite a bit of that light area showing. And this is where ink is your friend because the paper still doesn't go all the way out to the edges, But by adding the ink here, we're making it less evident. And my idea is to make this as grungy looking as possible. The other thing I found as I was going through and I was doing this, and I'm getting every single edge I can, I found places where the paper is lifting. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my art glitter glue and I'm going to go back in there and just add a little bit. If it wasn't clogged up. And just press the paper down. Trying to get all the edges. It's a good time to look at it and see where you need a little trim here or a little trim there. But don't cut your folds. Be careful about that. Then go back in and just ink those edges up. The back sides don't need to do that at all. It's funny trying to work on this in a limited space between the legs of my tripod. It makes for a very interesting situation for me to not knock things over. Okay, I've got the front. I've got that one done. I need a little bit there. And you can see, I'm not being picky. I'm going in there and just getting everything covered. I don't need to ink this side. Here's a spot where it's trying to come up. I need some ink on the inside here. Now on the inside, I got lots of inking to do on the edges. You could cover that with washi tape if you wanted to. You could cover it with fabric. The inside edge here, the one that I'm working on right now, this is where I'm going to sew in my signature, which I will be doing at a later date. But basically, I just want to take a look at it, make sure that I've got everything inked or glued. As I'm working on it more, I can always go back in and add more ink. But this is just a chance to make sure that everything is where I need it to be. So, I've got my inking done, I've got my sewing done, I've got all my paper on here. I'm now going to add this pocket. This is going to go inside right along here. So what I want to make sure that I do is I want to put glue here, here, and here. A trick that I learned from watching several people's videos is that when you're going to make a pocket, if you hold your project in your non-dominant hand, that's the side that you don't glue. So this is the side that I want to have open. I'm going to just put my bead of glue here. Any glue will do. I'm using art glitter glue. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But when I get it on there, and I remember to cap my art glitter glue because it dries out really fast, I take my finger and I just smear it along the edges. And that one spreads out the glue, but it also makes it less likely to squish out. So I've got my glue on there. I don't want to be too close to the fold there, but I want to make sure that I've got everything top and bottom lined up. And this is where I use my paper towel and rub it, because between the mica spray on the paper bag, it makes my fingertips hurt. And the stitches, I was going to say, it makes my fingertips hurt. So I now have a long pocket here. This one that's going to fold up there, I'm just going to put glue on both of those sides and fold it up. Cap my glue. Smush it. Fold it up and press it down. The nice thing about art glitter glue is that it dries quickly, so it will catch really fast and stay there. The nice thing about using glue stick is it gives you a little bit of time to position papers. So use your different glue sticks, or your glues I should say. I had my little scissors. I want to cut off some of those back threads because they're not needed. Use the different types of glues that you have. I use Aleene's, I use Fabri-Tac, I use art glitter glue, I use Elmer's glue, I use glue sticks. Use what you have. Okay, those two are down. Let's get over here to this one. All the threads out of the way. I'll cut off the ones that are on the inside because those are just not necessary. So when I posted my video last week, I wasn't sure how it was going to be received because, like I said, my channel usually deals with cross stitch. And this one is about paper crafting, which not everybody is into. I get that. I was really tickled when I got a comment from Tia, who is Calm Creations. And she also has a YouTube channel. I'll link her below. But she said that she was going to run straight off to her craft room and make one of these. And I just thought that it was so nice of her to say that, you know. Found somebody who was interested. But then I got a message from a lady through Instagram. She and her daughter live New Zealand, I think. And she sent me 2 pictures of her daughter working on her version of this type of journal. And I want to tell you, that made my day. I was so tickled that somebody else wanted to play along and took this idea and is making it their own, because that's the fun about this. no matter what you do, it's yours. No matter how you do it, do you want to make it using a manila folder as a base? Do you want to cover it with a paper bag? Do you want to cover it with craft paper? Do you want to cover it with tissue paper or napkins? You get to do what you want. Okay, so having all the threads all over the place, I'll decide whether or not I trim some off or not. I probably will. But here is the front of my journal. It has been covered. It has been stitched. I open it up. I have this right here, which creates a pocket right here. A pocket right here. We open it up here, and I have a long pocket right there to put things in. I have this pocket right here. On the back, I have a pocket here, and I have a pocket here. So, I still have some more areas to ink up because now that I've got this piece on, I see this needs to be inked up. I want to do some more inking down here, touch up some spots there. Decide whether or not I'm going to leave the threads hanging. I might leave some of them. But this is where I'm going to leave it at today. If you wanted to at this point, you could go ahead and put your signature in. I'm going to get to that. I don't know. I still have to make some more coffee stained paper, coffee dyed paper to put in here. But I think I want to focus on making some ephemera to go in here. And again, my journals that I'm making are all for coworkers. So I'm trying to use things that I've gotten from the store. Things like coin wrappers. I'll show you what I do with those because I've already got some of them. I have some receipts in here. I have some daily schedules in here. On the receipts, I don't want to show any names or anything. There's barcodes that could be used to add to some of the paper snippets. There's, you know, purchase there that shows all the stuff. Trying to personalize these and just put them together so that my coworkers can have some fun with them. So, this is where I'm stopping for today. I hope that this helped you to finish up the cover of your folio style journal. Again, this is the one that I made for me and my husband when we go jeeping. And as you can see, I've got the pocket there. I've got the long pocket here. I have a pocket here with my ducks in it. There's another pocket there. This is how I will add my signature in the center here. On the side, I can either add a paper pad there, or I could even put in a second signature along this seam. We will see what happens. Thank you for coming and visiting with me today. If you found any value in this video at all, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. I am stitchywitch42. Normally I do cross-stitching, but I have some paper crafting that I need to work on. So, thanks, so long, live long, and craft on. Bye-bye, everyone.